On November 20th, 1979, the first day of the new Islamic century, thousands gathered in Makkah's Grand Mosque for morning prayers, seeking peace and renewal. Suddenly, gunfire shattered the calm. Panic erupted as armed men stormed the mosque, bolting its doors and trapping 50,000 worshippers inside. The attackers, led by a man whose voice now echoed through the mosque's loudspeakers, seized control with military precision, turning minarets into sniper nests. The leader's sermon replaced the call to prayer, declaring a revolution at Islam's holiest site. The siege of Makkah had begun, a 2-week ordeal that would shake Saudi Arabia and the Islamic world. This was no foreign invasion, but a meticulously planned insurrection by Saudis, driven by apocalyptic visions. They chose the dawn of a new century, and the holiest site in Islam for maximum impact. Thousands were now hostages in a sanctuary where no blood should ever be spilt. The Saudi royal family faced an unprecedented crisis, their legitimacy as guardians of Islam's holiest sites under direct threat. The world watched, as the heart of Islam became a battleground. The fate of the kingdom and the region hung in the balance. The mastermind was Juhayman al-Otaybi, a former Saudi National Guard corporal turned radical preacher. Disillusioned by rapid modernization and Western influence, he called for a return to pure Islam and denounced the Saudi monarchy as corrupt. Central to his movement was the belief that his brother-in-law, Muhammad Abdullah al-Qahtani, was the Mahdi, the prophesied savior. The rebels smuggled weapons into the mosque, hidden in coffins and water jars, preparing for a long siege. Their demands end oil exports to the west, expel foreigners and overthrow the Al Saud dynasty. For the hostages, the mosque had become a terrifying prison, caught between fanaticism and the looming threat of military assault. The Saudi government was blindsided, news was suppressed, but the crisis could not be hidden for long. The Grand Mosque's sanctity made a military assault both a tactical and religious nightmare. The rebels had fortified the sprawling complex, making any attack perilous for the thousands trapped inside. Islamic law forbade violence in the holy sanctuary, so the government sought a fatwa from top clerics. After intense debate, the clerics ruled that the rebels had forfeited their protection by desecrating the mosque. With religious approval, Saudi forces launched an assault, but were repelled by well-positioned snipers, suffering heavy losses. The world's holiest site had become a deadly maze, and the government's legitimacy was on the line. The initial failures exposed the kingdom's vulnerability. The crisis deepened, and the pressure to end the siege mounted. The stage was set for desperate measures. As the siege dragged on, Saudi forces struggled. Their tactics failed against the entrenched rebels. In secret, the Saudis turned to France's elite GIGN for help. Foreign involvement was a dangerous secret. French advisors operating from outside Makkah recommended using tear gas to flush rebels from the mosque's underground tunnels. The plan drill holes in the marble courtyard, pump in gas, and force the insurgents into the open. Pakistani special forces helped coordinate the assault. The risks were immense. Hostages could be harmed, and the sacred site would be damaged. But with mounting casualties and no alternatives, the Saudis gambled everything on this plan. The final assault began. Gas was pumped into the mosque's catacombs, forcing chaos among the rebels. Some insurgents retreated deeper, but Saudi soldiers, masked and armed, stormed the tunnels in brutal close-quarters combat. Armored vehicles rolled into the courtyard, gunfire echoing through the sacred halls. The death of the self-proclaimed Mahdi, al-Qahtani, shattered the rebels' morale. Their belief in divine protection crumbled, resistance faltered. After nearly 2 weeks, the siege broke. Juhayman and his followers were captured, their revolution crushed. The Grand Mosque fell silent, scarred by violence. The cost was immense, lives lost, faith shaken, and the sanctity of Islam's holiest site forever altered. The world had witnessed the unthinkable. The kingdom would never be the same. The official death toll was 255, but the true number may have been far higher. Juhayman and dozens of his followers were swiftly executed, a warning to any future challengers. Yet, the government embraced stricter religious conservatism, empowering the religious police and reversing social reforms. Billions were spent promoting Wahhabi Islam at home and abroad, shaping the region for decades. The siege's legacy was profound. It fueled global jihadist movements and deepened ideological divides. Figures like Osama bin Laden were inspired by the events, seeing the kingdom's reliance on foreign help as betrayal. Today, the Grand Mosque is a gleaming marvel, its scars erased. But the memory of 1979 lingers. the siege remains a stark reminder of the explosive power of religious ideology and the fragility of order. 2 weeks of terror changed Saudi Arabia and the world forever.